All right, today we're going to look at a few demonstrations of some of the databases that we subscribe to. We've talked about the quick search, we've talked about what all these databases are, so let's do some searches. Here we are again at the All Sources page. So let's take a look at one of our multi-purpose databases, Academic Search Complete. Now when you come into any of the databases, you're going to see a search box. Sometimes it's just a single box, sometimes it's going to have a lot of options like this one does. You have a lot of search options and limiters already on the front page. Using the basic search in pretty much any database will search for your words in the default search fields chosen by the database. Often this is the citation field, like author, title, subject, or the abstract, which is a summary of your article. Those are the most common search fields for a basic search. Sometimes the default search might include the full text of the article, so anywhere in the article, but that can vary from database to database, so it's kind of going to depend on which one. When you use the advanced search in any database, we're in the basic search here in Academic Search Complete, the advanced search in any of the databases, you're going to be given more control to decide where your words appear and what fields to search. We'll look at that in just a moment. On the Academic Search Complete, as I mentioned, they have a lot of search options here on the front page. Some of the things that you can do here, it defaults to Boolean phrase searching. So Boolean operators you can use. Find all my search terms, find any of my search terms. They've got some choices there, or smart text searching. There's some hints there about that. Sometimes they like to be really helpful, so things like that smart text or possibly apply related words. Those can be a little bit dangerous. Those two things, they're trying to be super helpful, so kind of what they end up doing is going out to a thesaurus, looking for similar words, and also searching for those. That can be a problem. They can really lead you down a stray path pretty fast if they start searching farther and farther out for related words. If you do a search and you think you've got the right words and you don't find anything, or you just find a couple of things and you think, gosh, that doesn't seem right, you might try that apply related words. But overall, I would stay away from that because they can really take you off on a tangent. Okay, so in addition to those, you've got your limiter here, search within the full text of the articles. As I mentioned in the basic search, they're not automatically searching the whole article. If you want them to do that, you can. Now, the downside of that is that if it's a, say, 8 or 10 page article and your word that you're looking for appears one time on one page, might not be at all related to the subject of the article, but if you check that box, they will find it for you. So use with caution. Some other limiters that are helpful, full text. So this will limit your results to only articles that are available full text from this database. We talked previously in one of the other lectures about some things being full text and some things not being full text. You can limit yourself to only the things that they do actually have the full text of. Scholarly peer-reviewed journals. If you were asked to use only scholarly journals or only peer-reviewed journals, you can limit your search that way. The database will throw out anything that's not known to be scholarly. That can help you focus it down quite a bit as well. If you know what the name of the journal that you're looking for, journal or magazine, the publication title, you can put that in. If you were told to go and look for an article out of a particular magazine to read and summarize, you can limit it by that right here. Also, published date. If you want a certain date range, not any farther back than a certain year or a certain month and year or some sort of a range, you can limit that as well. So there's some helpful limiters right here on the front page in Academic Search Complete. We're going to go look at the advanced search. So when you get into here, you still have all your search options here, but then you've got this form. You're going to see that in advanced searching in a lot of the databases. You get a little form so you can put in what you're looking for and then select a field. Here's a whole list. It tells these are all the possible searchable fields. For example, author, title. Now, if you choose title, that means the word that you put in has to be in the title of the article. So say we wanted pollution to be in the title of the article, so we've chose title. And then look, we've got Boolean operators, and or not. And we want it to say oil spill. And we want that to be maybe in the subject. Then we could say, you know, maybe not Exxon. We don't want that Exxon Valdez. And if we don't choose anything, it defaults to their basic fields. So if we did a search like this, we've made some control over our search. We have 24 results. And then we're seeing here on the left, we have some refinements. We can focus it down a little more if we want. We didn't limit to full text, but now we can do that here. We can limit to a date range on the left. They've got a little slider bar that we can use. But we've got our results list right here up the middle. We've got the title, you've got your authors, your date, your name of your journal, your publication title. This is Journal of Molecular Microbiology and Biotechnology, for example. It's listed right here. And then a little bit of subject headings about them. Now, the second one down here, you can see they've got some graphics that they're kind of previewing for you. There's some images. And our words that we search for are in bold. So we've got a little bit of a selection here. Now you can see on the first one, it says, check for full text in other GHC databases. What this is telling us is they do not have the full text rights to this article. But that link will take you out and check against other Grace Harbor College databases that you have access to as a student. So if we're in Academic Search Complete, maybe that article is available over in the Science Direct database, for example. If you click on that link, it'll take you out and it'll check against all the other databases and against our print. We don't have a lot of print journals on our shelves still, but we do have some. So when you see that link, you can also check that and see if it's available that way. But the second one, you can see PDF full text. The full article is there. We could click on it and start reading the article immediately. So we can go through and look for those and pick something that looks good. If we looked at, say, this fifth one, we click on the title. We've got a little bit more of information about it. We've got subject terms, tells us a little bit of what this is about. We've got an abstract, which is a summary of the article. And you can see that's all that's here. The full text of the article is available, but you have to click on the left, your PDF. That's very common. You don't see the whole text of the article here. You have to click on the PDF and open it, and we can do that. In Academic Search Complete, on the right-hand side is your tools. Sometimes this will be across the top of the results, maybe the bottom, the left, the right, but things to look for. Add it to a folder if you wanted to. Up across the top here, you could create an account with them and save things to a folder. You could do that. Print, we wanted to print this out. Email, even if you print an article, I always recommend that you also email yourself a copy. It can just sit there and you can ignore it, but if you lose your print copy, you don't want to have to go looking for it again. So it's good to have a backup, throw in an electronic copy somewhere. Save, you can download this article. Cite, it will give you some help, not perfect, but some help on how to cite your article. Export it if you want to send it out. You can get a permanent link. That's a permanent link to this article. So you can also keep that if you want a permanent link to the article. So you've got some information here and some options. We can make some changes again to our search and do a little bit more specific, but that's if we looked at the PDF, it's going to look at that. And now we have the PDF article right here. We could download it, we could print it, we can save it, we can do whatever we want there. Those same features are really important to look for in all the different databases. No matter which database you're in, look for things like print, email, save, link to the article, all of those types of things, maybe a folder, all of those things. they could be very well possible that they have those features. So that is a brief look at Academic Search Complete. We can look around. So we're going to go and pick a different database and take another look. A lot of the databases have similar features, but they don't all look the same. So sometimes it can throw you off if you're searching in a database maybe you haven't used before. So that's what Academic Search Complete looks like. If we wanted to look at, for example, America's newspapers, we wanted to go looking for a newspaper article. We come on into the page here. We're going to access world news. They have some shortcuts to some local things like the Daily World and the Olympian, but we want to do a search on world news. Now this has some nice features. If you're looking for a topic that may have happened in a particular area, you can narrow it down by state. You can pick news sources just from a state. You can just pick Washington, or you could pick someplace else where something may have happened that you want to get a local perspective of an article. So that's really nice. You can narrow it down by state. You can select multiple states if you want to. Browse by publication type, etc. But they've got, look at here right on the front, another search form. Now these are a little bit different choices because these are newspapers. Lead or first paragraph. That's usually really important in a newspaper. Is they sort of the lead paragraph should kind of explain what the article's about. So they don't have abstract here because a lot of times newspaper articles aren't very long. But the lead or first paragraph is a good indicator of what the article's about. The headline. What's the headline of the article, the author, the section, the caption. So there's a lot of different choices here. So let's try, we're doing all text right now. We'll do oil spill again, and then, oh look, nice, and or not. We've got our Booleans, and we don't want date, we want headline to say pollution. Now sort by most recent matches first. We saw this when we were looking at the quick search as well. Most recent first, best matches first, or oldest matches first. Just like when we saw this choices before, these are sort features. This does not narrow you down by any dates. If you want to do a date narrow, you can add another row right here, add another row and narrow it down by date. But this is a sorting feature. In this database, in Access World News in America's newspapers, they sort automatically by most recent first. It's newspapers, so they think people want the most recent things first. Okay, the most recent is at the top, and then we can go through and look at these. Now they've got, again, pollution in the headline, the name of the newspaper, and then it tells you helpfully, very helpfully, and they give you where the newspaper is published from. So that's very helpful. Sometimes with a name like the Valley Times News, who knows what valley they're talking about. So they're telling you right here, number 2, that it's from Lynette, Alabama. So you can see that. So any of these, you can, oh look, add to my collection, print or crop, email, save as PDF. So print, email, save, same kinds of choices there. If we click on that, we're going to get the whole article. It's a newspaper, so it's a very short article in this case, but we've got the whole thing right here. And then again, we've got all of our print email things across the top. And then they've got a feature here for related articles. So they've got some things that might be related to this that we may want to look at. So looking at newspapers in America's newspapers, we've got very similar features as we saw in Academic Search Complete, but again, this is only newspapers. We're focusing on that. So look for some of the same choices. Now a little further down, let's look at one more where we have a topic search. If we look at the Opposing Viewpoints in Context database, which is, I've mentioned, really good for browsing for a topic if you're not sure what you want to do. You can go in here and do a search if you already know what you're looking for, but if you don't and you're not sure what you want to do, you can browse. There's a single search box at the top here, so if you have a topic in mind, you can go ahead and search for it. But if you look right here, it says Browse Issues. If you want to browse for something because you're not sure what to do, here is a nice long list of potential issues. You can look at them all, or you can narrow it by category. Perhaps you wanted something about energy and environmentalism. They'll narrow it down to those topics, and then you can pick one. And they've got here in the center, they've got an overview, and then they've got an outline of what's on this page. They've got some viewpoints. They've got academic journals they found, some statistics, news from different newspapers, some audio, video, some images, magazines, references, websites. They've got it all kind of categorized for you here. And they've organized for all those different topics. They've organized them a bit so they've sort of summarized for you what's the issue and what's going on with it. And they've done a search for you as well. And then on here, they also have related topics. So maybe there's some other things related to their main topic, which I picked offshore drilling here. Their main topic, they've got some other related topics as well. And so then you can go ahead and look at this. I'm looking at a viewpoint article. So this is a whole article. This one's pretty lengthy. And then you've got your tools on the right-hand side: citation, email, download, print, some of the same things over again, save it, all of those things. So you're going to see a lot of the common features in all of the different databases. That's all we're going to look at right here. That's all I'm going to demonstrate, but having some idea of what features are most likely available in any database can really help. We didn't look at ProQuest Research Library, but if you went in and searched that, it would look a little bit different, but some of those features are going to be the same. Advanced search, limiting to full text, limiting to peer review, those types of things. You're going to see a lot of the same things. Down here in SIR's knowledge source, it's not going to look the same as opposing viewpoints in context, but they also have a browse issues feature where you can go in, try and pick a topic, and they've done some organization. They've given you an overview. They've collected some of the resource for you. They've got a lot of that going on as well. So sometimes you will see the same types of features. So knowing what to look for, checking out the advanced search, what are your limiters, narrowing it to full text, to peer review, limit yourself by date. All of these features you can find in a lot of these databases. The key is keeping your eye out for those things, having some idea or some sense of what should be available to you. What should you expect to see? And then you know what to look for. It's not always called the same thing, but knowing that you should have those choices will give you confidence to go looking for them. That's looking at magazines and journals, a short demo on what some of those look like.